In that case, it is 6:20 and we are going to open a public hearing. This is a public hearing regarding Highway 144 intersection signal improvements. The City of Perry has decided to reduce the four-lane Highway 144 to a safer three-lane section at the intersection of Highway 144 and Willis. According to traffic signal replacement, and whereas bids have been received and open at the bid letting on September 2nd, 2015 at 2 o'clock p.m., with bids received from Henriksen of Grimes in the amount of $403,006, from Voltmore Electric of Decorah with a bid of $371,594.70. Matt Ferrier, engineer with Bolton & Mink Incorporated, has reviewed the bids with Voltmore Electric, submitting a low bid of $371,594.70, which is below the engineer's estimate of $404,501. This project will be paid for by a Traffic Safety Improvement Program grant the City of Perry received from the Iowa Department of Transportation in the amount of $380,000.
So we did have several plan holders on this project. One thing we did learn through the bidding process is underground contractors for improvements to the storm sewer and placing back new curbs was difficult for prime bidders to find. There was a shortage of available underground contractors for the duration of this project. I do actually have this on a resolution tonight for your action. I'm going to actually ask that you wait on taking action on this evening for two reasons. I would like to visit with the contractors a little bit to see what impacts were driving the cost of the underground, if there was something we should be changing or could be changing that would help those costs to provide potential savings. I would also like to reach back out to the Iowa DOT and ask for funds to cover the gap. The $380,000 grant covered design fee, construction fee for engineering, as well as the project. And so we're going to be a little bit short on that. We'd like to look at all measures possible before we take action and award this, prior to having you accept the bids. That being said, we are extremely comfortable with everything on the signal portion of the bid. They were very competitive. The only thing we have in question is the underground work.
So Matt, would you would be suggesting that we rebid the project with more information than
We may not necessarily need to rebid it. Our first step will be talking to the Iowa DOT to see if there's additional funds to help us with this. What we do have the ability to do on a project like this is we reserve the right to modify quantities or materials to help lessen the cost of the project. And so we may be looking at an avenue of like that. What that does require us to do is approve the project as bid. We cannot make modifications to a project prior to awarding it. That's against Iowa code. But it is something we may consider for the duration of the project.
Do you think there's a chance that it would jeopardize the bid to go back into these material negotiations?
Like I said, we will not do any of that ahead of, we cannot have any negotiations with the contractor before award. I just want to explore a little bit of the bidding climate and see who was available to bid and who wasn't available to bid, and see if there was an impact as a result of that.
So you're not going to these companies, you're going to the other
I
companies?
cannot reach out to them.
I was having a question related to the drawings that were there. At what point down the street first, either way, does it begin to change from 4 to 3 lanes?
Essentially what we did, we asked the police department for crash reports and the Iowa DOT along the corridor from corporate limit to corporate limit. And we essentially looked at a cutoff limit, which took us to Bateman, and converting from 4 lane to 3 lane, starting at Bateman up through the intersection, and then 1 block south of Willis. With the other intention is that ultimately we'll be looking at the intersection of 144 and 141 for safety improvements there. We've started looking at the impact of how the signals operate there now. It may be another project that might qualify for USTEP money for STIP money similar to this intersection to start looking at closing the gap and converting 3-lane from 141 eventually all the way to the north limit line, which is, for off and on, has been on the DOT's 5-year plan several times. There was a traffic study done here by Iowa State University, I believe in 2008. Is that correct, Sven?
Sounds about right.
That indicated that the entire corridor should run as a 3-lane and does operate more efficiently.
So people need to be aware that this is the start of a 3-lane project all the way through town, probably.
Correct.
Eventually.
Yes, it will take
When,
time
we don't know, but eventually, right?
as funds become available and we're able to capitalize on some of those funds.
Which should help with some of the repairs on First Street North, right?
It could,
Because it
yes.
needs some work.
The First Street is actually is a state federal aid route that belongs to the state of Iowa. It is designated as a highway, so they're responsible for maintaining surface condition. Your 2080 agreement with them requires that the city is responsible for underground work. So, intake, storm sewers, all those things.
Other questions?
Do we need a motion to postpone?
Not just yet, we're still in public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, excuse me.
And I don't, you might actually have to answer this one, Dewey. Do they have to do any action? Do they have a resolution on here if they want to just postpone to one meeting? Okay,
So we're looking at 2 weeks.
correct. Yeah, bids are good for 30 days.
What do you think about that proposal? I think it sounds okay. All right.
I just want to make sure I'm comfortable recommending to you that we get the most bang for our buck.
It will be nice to reach out to DOT, see if they will up their contribution a little bit too, so. All right.
What kind of work do we need to do at this intersection? I thought it was very well drained and,
It isn't a drainage, it's for movement of semis around the corner going to the
Okay.
west.
okay, sure.
We actually had to widen the radii on each side a little bit, which resulted in us moving intakes back and adding some additional storm sewer and some concrete work there.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Anybody else in the room? This is a public hearing. Anybody's welcome to chime in. Thank you. And hearing no other feedback, we'll close the public meeting at 6:28 PM. And that brings us to old business. The first item being the one we just discussed, resolution approving bid for Highway 144 intersection signal improvements. With council approval, the bid for Highway 144 intersection signal improvements will be awarded to Voldmore Electric with a low bid of $371,594.70.
I move that we postpone the vote on that resolution for some weeks.
Second.
And that postponement will be to the next council meeting, which is the third Monday, the 21st of this month. Comments about that? Please call the roll.
Vaughn? Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
McCollum?
Yes.
Andor? Yes. Shaw?
Yes.